Hi friends, welcome back to Feni for the Soul. Today I'm going to be speaking about a very special kind of Ironman Triathlon. See, Ironman Triathlon is arguably considered to be one of the toughest single-day sports in the world because triathletes have to swim 3.8 kilometers in open waters and then follow it up with 180 kilometers of cycling and finish with a 42 kilometers full marathon, all within 17 hours. Now that's 226 kilometers that they have to complete in 17 hours. Now just imagine if you have to do 5 such Ironmans in 5 consecutive days. That is an Ironman every day for 5 consecutive days. That there is an event like that called the EPIC-5 Endurance Challenge, and it is really tough. I know quite clearly. But two Indians, Gaurav Makkar of Delhi in 2019, and more recently Prarabdh Awasthi, young 30-something executive from Kanpur, have completed this EPIC-5 Endurance Challenge. So I'm going to play a small video clip from EPIC-5 YouTube channel for your reference, and go ahead and speak to Prarabdh and his wife Aakanksha.
Or why am I doing this? And you just push through it.
Just do your best and try your best, because you will go through those periods. Pretty soon you'll be able to see the end of the light.
So you are insane, you are crazy, there's no way. They think it's impossible.
The EPIC-5 Challenge is an unprecedented athletic and spiritual journey where a handful of athletes have challenged themselves to travel 703 miles, 5 iron distance triathlons on 5 islands in 5 days, a feat that has never been attempted before.
I take it to that level every day. I'm an endurance athlete. I love to push myself to the brink of destruction.
Had to make an executive decision.
We have to get on that plane at 7 o'clock.
Okay, good morning, folks. Welcome back to Feni for the Soul. As I mentioned, we have Prarabdh, Ironman, multiple Ironman, and now the EPIC-5 endurance champion right there on the screen with his pretty wife, Aakanksha. So, hi, Prarabdh and Aakanksha. Hi. They joined me from Mumbai, and I'm sitting in Goa. So, as I've given in my introduction, Prarabdh now is 10 Ironmans old. He had done 5 Ironmans and an Ultraman before he did this wonderful EPIC-5 Endurance Challenge, which is, like I said, 5 Ironman races over 5 consecutive days. So, it's breathtaking to say the least. So I'm going to really, I'm privileged to have called Prarabdh my buddy, because I raced with him in one Ironman race in faraway Taupo in New Zealand in 2020. So I'm really privileged. So let's kick off. Prarabdh, without much ado, please explain this EPIC-5 race in your own words. What made you take up something so difficult?
See, EPIC-5, I think, Rahul, you have already mentioned. It's 5 full Ironman distances in 5 days in 5 different islands of Hawaii. So that's EPIC-5. Basically, the idea is you finish Ironman on one island, pack your bag, move to next island, fly to next island, fly or take a boat, whatever, and do this all over again for 5 days. So that's EPIC-5. Why did I do it? See, it's like this, Rahul. When I was doing Ironman, that was the most difficult thing for me in the entire world. When I was doing Ultraman, that was the most difficult thing, right? So in general, I think for something I'm passionate about, there is always that longing to do more, to see how far I can push. So that's the reason after Ultraman, while looking out for options, this popped up. And again, till the point we made it to the finish line, it looked impossible. But that was the reason, right? In general, something I'm grateful to find this passion in life. And now it's all about seeing that longing is always there. So this was another milestone in that journey.
Wonderful. So you have to tell me, you told me that you trained with the coach Kaustubh Radkar of Pune for a good 2.5 years for the EPIC-5, I think those include the COVID years, possibly?
Yes.
The 2 COVID years. So that's even more difficult because swimming pools were not available and all of that. So I wanted to know what was for the lay audience especially, what was your weekly training schedule, under Coach Radkar? Roughly,
Yeah, so I will come to that, Rahul. See what happened. Actually, when we were in New Zealand, the idea was to do EPIC-5 that year itself. It was scheduled to happen in August 2020, right? Because of COVID, it got postponed, and I think from EPIC-5 perspective, it was good because I got a lot more time to train. And before talking about weekly schedule, Rahul, I think I also started doing a bit of research and understanding sports science, for myself. So the couple of things which I was not doing very clearly in my, say, previous years of training, I started focusing on those aspects. So one of them was aerobic training, right? That building the base, which we talk about. So I was more focused on intensity based training rather than looking at pace. So that was one major change I did. Second, strength training, right? That was more or less missing from my previous, adventures. So I got that also in the disciplines. And third part was nutrition. So these were the three core aspects which I started focusing on. Coming to weekly schedule, initially, Rahul, the idea was similar to Ironman when we were doing base training, that, say 10 to 15 hours of working on that endurance base. As we got closer to the event, we started picking up volume, right? So we moved to 20 plus hours a week, 30 plus hours a week. A couple of peak weeks were around 40 plus hours, right? And the idea there was, Rahul, that it should be low intensity, high volume. That's the way you recover faster and are able to do it, day after day. So started with base building, which was around 10 to 15 hours, and a lot more focus was on bike. That bike is, we need to work a lot on our bike, right? Because if we are able to get in a decent state once we come off the bike, probably run would be fine. That was the mindset. So many hours on bike, and talking about weekly schedule at high level, maximum we touched 42 hours in a week. So that's a very high level landscape of how, coach was planning the training for me.
I have an immediate question, Prarabdh, and that is, see, you are a busy executive, with a multinational company, and so how do you manage these long hours of training? That's my first question.
Yeah. So good question, Rahul. See, initially, as I said, right, the plan I was thinking about while training for EPIC-5 was to take some time off from work, right? That given these many hours we would be investing, I was thinking at least in the peak period, which is 3 months, can I take off from work and then do training? But later I realized that probably balancing it with work is an opportunity to train something for something like EPIC-5, because anyway we need to be in fatigue state, right? Do this day in and day out. So I started using say being part of work as an opportunity, and I would rather do my long training rides after coming from office. Probably you're done with office at 8, then you start your ride at 10 after a couple of hours of sleep, or maybe at 1 a.m 2 a.m. So I was trying to simulate race like conditions, and that worked. Basically used it in to map it to how we can simulate more race like conditions. So that way, overall it was more as an opportunity which worked in our favor to train for something like this, like stay in fatigue state. You would be slightly sleep deprived as well, and then go and do your training.
Wow, quite amazing. Typically I wanted to know, I'm going to show some video clips of your EPIC-5 race, the swim, bike, run. Of course, I must tell the audience that it's always open water swimming, and but the seas were very rough in Hawaii. So two of the 5 races, they Prarabdh and the other athletes swam in the pool. So don't it's a misnomer. There are some pool video clips, but that's not how a typical Ironman takes place. So 3 races were in the open water. Let me share some video, and then I want to ask you a question again. So this is your. I'm sharing your swim, just a portion of your swim, the pool with the other athletes. Prarabdh, how many athletes took part in this race, EPIC-5?
So 6 were for Epic Deca.
Okay.
And yeah, later on, few moved from Epic Deca to EPIC-5. That also happened. But overall, we were 9 folks.
Epic Deca is 10 times?
Yeah, 10 Ironman in 10 days.
Oh my God. I'm not even going to discuss that right now. let me show some more video. That's Prarabdh finishing his run late in the night, or maybe wee hours.
Not late in the night, but morning round.
Yeah. So this is one of your races, one of the 5 races.
Day 2.
Day 2. And one last one about the cycling, just to give people a full idea. Day 2 cycling, yeah.
Day 4 cycling now.
Day 4 cycling, wonderful. So I can see, I saw that the legs were a little out, no, Prarabdh?
Yeah.
So that is out of fatigue, I guess, right?
There was a bit of issue with my saddle height as well, Rahul. So
really? So the question I have for you immediately is, did you feel like throwing in the towel any time during this 5 days? You said, "Oh gosh, this is not on." When did that happen? When you got the blisters?
Yeah. So two incidents or situations I would like to talk about here, Rahul. One was the blister one, right? Where I think we were forced to, in a way, throw in the towel, right? What I mean by that is, I felt that I could have gone further, but because that blister was so nasty that even when I got off my bike, because of gravity, it was I was not able to stand up, and this was day 3 when it really became so worse. And imagine pushing bike, paddling with that blister. So that was really becoming impossible. So we decided to quit. I mean, this is exactly what happened on day 3. I told coach that it's very hard, and he was also able to see that every stroke it was getting worse to move forward. So spoke to Aakanksha, spoke to coach. I told her that, hey, tell back at home that probably this is where it's going to end. And we gave up. We just said that because I just couldn't do anything with that blister. And then everyone came, race organizers. Rebecca came, race director. And first thing I told her that, Rebecca, I will come next year again, because I was physically not done, right? Physically, mentally, I think I had in me to go further. But because of that blister, I couldn't do anything. But then they all, came there, and they started working on my blister. So medics were there. They popped the blister out. They taped it. And I would definitely like to mention this guy, Colin, who looked at my shoe and he realized that cleat was exactly at the position where it was pushing the blister with every stroke. So he said, what we can do? Maybe we can try pulling it a bit backwards so that it will not be pushing your blister. So he did that. While this entire thing was happening, we had given up, on our WhatsApp group where everyone was tracking back in India. Aakanksha had mentioned that probably that's it. And then he moved that cleat a little back, and we tried again, just to see if we can at least bike, at least cycle. And so this was day 3. It was a 7-kilometer loop, I think 25 times, something of that sort. And I was able to complete one loop. And I said, coach, hey, should we do this? Coach said, why not? If there is a scope, let's try it. And when I finished one loop, I was able to bike. I was not feeling that much pain. I think we took painkillers as well. And then after finishing the loop, I said, okay, I'm gonna push. We will try for sub 20 minute per loop, and I had already lost couple of hours. But that's one situation where we were kind of forced to quit or give up, and actually had done that, right? So that was like in a way coming back from that kind of situation. Second was day 4. I think day 4 run was my lowest point, where I actually was physically exhausted. Walking, was doing sleepwalking. That's when I said I don't want to do this. Right. That's when I said we have come so far. Now let me just rest. Right. I am not interested in going any further. So that's where my crew, right, Aakanksha, coach was running with me for most of the times. Yeah, this is day 3. This is day 3 after quitting, after saying because of blister we cannot go further. So this is day 3. uh, and day 4 was the lowest point round. Day 4 I said let's go back, right? I just want to sleep now. So these are two situations I would like to mention when you ask about any point, any time it got really difficult.
But what is interesting is, tell us how you spoke to your mind and your body to get back into the race. That is
See,
very
day 3 very clear, Rahul. Day 3, as I said, I was not mentally and physically done. So that was kind of magical moment where Colin and medics came in and rescued us from that situation. Once I was able to get back on bike and I was not feeling that pain, I could continue and finish the day. Now, just to give you on how did we get to day 4? We finished the run on day 3. We sat in the car and we went to airport. I did not even see the hotel, on day 3. That's how tight it was, because I had already lost couple of hours, in that giving up, everyone coming back and getting us back, all of that. Day 4, what happened, Rahul? I mean, crew actually uh, pushed me through, right? I was like at 36 kilometer. Now let me just sleep. I don't want to move even an inch, right? So they were like, no, 200 meters, 300 meters. So day 4 run, I think absolutely belongs to them. And then when I got to bed for whatever half an hour of sleep, I was sure that I will not do day 5, right? That's how I went to bed. But I think maybe Aakanksha can tell here, they were doing something in the background, that how at least I can start day 5. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Akanksha, tell us how much sleep was Pra getting roughly between the races?
It kept reducing. Day 1 he got 2 hours. Day 2 he got 1.5 hour. After day 3 he got 0 minutes of sleep. He probably, I mean, when he was flying to the next island, he must have slept for 5-10 minutes, and he started the next race. And day 4 we were actually trying for him to finish quicker, so that he can get some sleep, because 2 Ironmans back to back he had done without any sleep. So day 4 we were trying to get him about 2.5 hours, but day 4 was his lowest point. So we could only get him, I think, 50 minutes, 50 minutes of sleep. And so super low on sleep, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something. So
But just to answer the Uber question, how did I tackle the mind part? See, once I even got 50 minutes sleep, right, I was sure that we are not giving up while sitting in the car or in the hotel, right? That I was very clear. I mean, I would for sure go out, right, swim, try to bike, try to run, and to whatever extent I could go, I will do that. So if we have to give up, not giving, I mean, that should happen on the course, not anywhere else. So that I was very sure about. And also a lot of support, right? I would definitely like to mention there was a group which we created, and friends and family.
The WhatsApp group.
Yeah, WhatsApp group. I mean, there's a lump in my throat when I talk about this. I have preserved that group, right, for my life. I keep going back to that group and see messages. So many messages, songs, positivity, prayers, healing techniques, everything was going on, right? So I just wanted to give my best. And what it personally meant to me, Rahul, was that, yeah, there is swelling, there are blisters, toenails are coming out. But if next step is not going to kill me, I will keep taking that next step, right? And I relied on, say, coach and crew to take care of safety, that hey, am I like really pushing too hard? But for me, I got, so we talk about mental strength, physical strength. I something realized something like emotional strength, right? On day 5 it was all messages which I was getting from everyone, those were playing in my head. And I was just like, I when I go back, I just want to tell them that I give my best, right? And that meant, uh, until unless it's a lethal situation, I'm not going to give up. Right? That's all I was telling in my head, and talking to myself. Fortunately, we were able to see finish line, Rahul, right? And unfortunately, it got bit more, say, bit harder for us with that blister thing. But it's all about how we handled and what happened at the end.
On day 3, Prarabdh was really looking for someone to say that something can be done. Like, he did not want to give up, but he was just like, so when he came out of the swim, the first question he asked me was, did people talk about it? Did someone figure out if there is a solution? Like, because I want to give my best, but I don't know what to do with these blisters. And even when he finally gave up on the bike because he was just not able to paddle, it took 3 people to get him off the bike. He couldn't just walk off the bike. We had to lift him out and then lay him on the floor. And that's when actually this photographer, Colin was the official photographer of the event, and he's also a bike specialist. So that's when he came and he told Prarabdh that if I fix your shoes right now and if I adjust your bike and if you get on the bike and if you try one more time, it's still going to pain. I'm not saying it's not going to pain, but it's going to pain for a few weeks. Your feet are going to pain for a few weeks. But if you quit right now, then your heart and your mind are going to pain forever. So, and that's what Prarabdh needed to hear that day. I mean, he just wanted someone to come and tell him that this is not the point to quit.
Wow. Fantastic. Thank you, Aakanksha, for those inputs. So, Aakanksha, question for you. So, you guys are recently married, and hearty congrats on that again. My point is, did you know you were getting married to a crazy Ironman triathlete? I mean, did you know what you were in for?
Before I spoke to Prarabdh for the first time, I did not even know what an Ironman was. So when I was talking to him, I was like, you seem to be interested in some sports, and I've seen your pictures with Indian flags. What is it? And then he told me what one Ironman was, and I was like, wow, why would someone do that? Like, yeah. And then he told me about the Ultraman, and then he told me about his aspiration for the EPIC-5, and no, I had no idea about any.
Most interesting part is, Rahul, that like our honeymoon was supposed to be she crewing for me, yeah, right, with hardly any background on in this sport.
So, yes. So you gave her an EPIC-5 honeymoon, it seems. That's what.
Yeah. Maybe we'll remove 5. We just say epic honeymoon.
Nice. So did you get to holiday after the race? I mean, you all were able to get time off after the race?
Not much, Rahul. We had some plans to do road trips and all of that, but my recovery took longer. Right, based on advice from doctors, I was suggested a couple of weeks of bed rest and all of that. My foot was still, there was swelling was there. So for that, we were staying there at a cousin's place, but not executing our original plans of traveling and all of that.
Okay. No, good. So finally for Aakanksha, really, Aakanksha, you inspired by Prarabdh, possibly, are you planning to take up some sport yourself? Because Prarabdh mentioned somewhere in some interview that, I mean, at that EPIC-5 event, he said that you're not really into athletics or sport yourself, but
no, I mean, I'm certainly not into any athletics or sports. There are some things I enjoy, like I enjoy my yoga.
Oh, nice.
And I've in the past been a lot to the gym, and I enjoy going to the gym.
Good.
But nothing for something like that. That's a little big for me right now to think.
Yeah. No, you certainly don't have to do a triathlon. But I'm very happy to hear that you do yoga and you do gym. I mean, as long as you are connected with sport, that's so nice. And I think one crazy person in the family is enough.
Yeah.
We don't want two people to join that. Anyway, so I'm going to show some more photos, and maybe you all guys can comment on it. The lovely photo of the two of you. With the Indian tricolor, and this is of course that taping of the blisters, and this is your feet are taped completely, but you got that huge EPIC-5 finishers medal and you well earned rest. And
the peace finally after
Yeah,
finishing.
it's a huge sigh of relief, Rahul.
I know, I can imagine. This, of course, we have seen. This is. Tell us, what was this? This was, I think, practice time. This must have been a practice round or something. You were practicing.
You go ahead and
This
say.
is actually, so the bike course was all over the city, all over the highway, all over the jungles, and the crew had to direct the athlete as to where
Oh
he
God!
had to go next.
Wow.
So this
So we
is
had it much easier in New Zealand, Prarabdh.
Yeah, so Rahul, the difference there is that anyway, those are closed courses.
Yeah.
Right. These are open courses, so they are more like brevets, right?
Yeah.
Not like
Yeah.
an 180.
I understand.
So this is me telling Prarabdh what are his next 5 turns probably.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the importance of the role that the crew plays. Yeah. Wonderful. This is, of course, a swim photo in the pool. Yeah. Sadly, we don't have open water sea photos, but I must tell the audience that all the races are really in the open water. And this is lovely photo at the finish line with your coach, Prarabdh in the background. Big role he's played.
Absolutely.
And this, of course, again with the coach. Kaustubh has been my coach also for 2 full years. So I know, all my Ironmans are, thanks to Kaustubh's training.
So go ahead, Rahul. Go ahead.
No, nothing else really. I think it's been a great interview. So I wish both of you, very happy married life and a lot of fun and adventures, in the coming years. So thank you for spending time on this show. All the best. God bless.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Thank you so much for having us here. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Take care.